Do you guys want to talk about Menendez brothers possibly getting parole?
Shout
Tell
out
us.
to them.
Okay, well, the district attorney in California has basically said that he is going to recommend to the judge who is going to,
Resentenced them.
he's recommending resentencing.
You on top of this Menendez shit. You like Dim Kardashian.
No, I mean, I think
You ain't missed a beat with this shit.
it's hard not to because it's all over our televisions. I mean, first we had the Ryan Murphy, series, and then we have their voices talking about their perspective of everything. They've been in jail for like over 30 years.
34 years. And they did a 2020 on these dudes recently. I watched that as well.
Yeah, there's an HBO one. It's just everywhere.
And then in light of all the new evidence from the former member of Menudo talking about the sexual assault that he experienced at the hands of their father, now the district attorney is basically saying, I'm going to recommend that they get parole eligibility immediately. That's huge because they were like facing life in prison without parole forever.
And he also was down a couple of points. He's up for re-election. Right? One of the.
The district attorney?
Yes.
Yeah, Gascon.
Yeah, he was down like 30 points.
How do we feel about that? I think they should get freed.
I think that they should be eligible for parole because they're not a danger to society. And I think that that's one of the considerations when it comes to being eligible for parole. They're not a danger to society. And with the circumstances around the fact that they may have been telling the truth about being sexually abused and that not having been taken into account during their trial, yeah.
I feel.
Yo, don't start cracking your neck and shit,
I think
bro.
if that second doctor came out, it was valid, and the shit that was left out of the trial is true, then it would have been probably a manslaughter charge. They still killed people at the end of the day,
Right.
brutally. And I think that their time would have been.
I feel sexual abusers should be tortured to some degree. So, if their father, who's supposed to be their hero, sexually abused them,
Damn, come on.
Kill
Can we
him.
skip this guy's dad trauma? Man?
nah, this ain't.
Can we skip his?
Come on.
My dad should
This
be my
nigga
hero
here.
all the time. What the fuck?
Are you Trey's hero?
And respect the 1v1, man. Let them niggas clear out. You see Ish cracking his neck while they're
Ish.
talking. Get him with that. Got a 1v1 going.
I think it's bullshit.
You think what's bullshit?
Them getting early release.
It's been 34 years.
You don't give a fuck what it been.
You
It's niggas that have gone to jail for less, did life, and if we are gonna allow somebody's trauma to justify them committing criminal acts, then free the whole ghetto.
I'm not mad.
Oh,
at
great. And free to ghetto.
You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not a fan of that. I think it's bullshit. I think that the media attention and the spotlight that's been put upon the case has now allowed them, the benefit of getting sympathy from the masses, but the sympathy don't give us masses when we do violent crime.
But
And that's true.
you don't identify with trauma anyway.
Who
Like
don't
you-
identify with trauma?
Let me not say that. From conversations, it don't seem like you really take the trauma serious.
That's not true.
If
Well,
you were
Therapy.
them, would
It's
you want
therapy that he doesn't really
My
believe in.
apologies. I'm saying that. Speaking to you and coming from you, I would expect the answer like that because you're just a macho man, nigga. Like,
That's not the- no, I didn't
that's
say-
how, just how I feel.
No,
I'm just
I
saying.
didn't say
I feel
that.
like watching it, them, if their father did that, I do understand what you're saying. But if their father did that to them, a lot of back in those days, they didn't feel like men suffered from those things, like sexual assault. It wasn't really highlighted when it came to men. It was shunned. It's only women experienced those things. So like, I feel
It's
like
still taboo.
yeah, it's taboo. So I feel like, these. A lot of times, if a girl is kidnapped and she kills her killer, kills her kidnapper, she does time. But a woman, she
sex
gets
trafficked.
out. Yeah, sex trafficked. She gets out at a decent,
Good point. Great point.
time. So,
point.
But I understand what you say. Because I felt the same way until I saw the story and then I watched the documentary. I'm like, oh, okay.
You empathize with them a little
Yeah, I
more.
empathize with them a little more. Yeah.
So do you feel they shouldn't be released because of the killing part? Or because of the way they did it?
I think that their killing was graphic. I think
It
that
was
their
extremely.
killing was premeditated. And I think that, again, not saying that those guys didn't have, if those things were accurate and that stuff really took place, they definitely had a right to feel, contempt and disdain for their family. I just think that it sets a precedent. Like, what about all the people that did similar shit that just didn't have their case televised? They still locked up. So I think it's unfair to let go some and not let go all.
I think it's unfair that we are talking about the resentencing that we're talking about the television shows as it pertains to the resentencing and not some of the new evidence that they found. I don't believe that a television show alone is going to get people granted new trials.
Stephen Avery is still in jail.
But if there's new evidence and he ain't getting, I don't know why he thought Trump was getting him out of jail.
Dog, we just had a case. We just had a case less than a month ago where somebody was executed. The district attorney begged for him to not be executed. The quote unquote
The prosecutor.
the victim's family that they thought was a victim begged for him not to be prosecuted under the guise of new evidence that exonerated the gentleman. He still got executed. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, but I don't think that you should hold.
True.
Just because he didn't get the right
His
thing
proper
done,
thing, that don't mean I shouldn't get proper.
But he's saying unfair. He's saying that
It's unfair just.
It's unfair just. I understand what Ish is saying.
Like,
But
dog,
to
it's-
that point, how you saying like basically saying the TV and everything is given. We just had this conversation a few pods back. They did that with Diddy. They're using the TV and shit to make him look or paint away. So regardless how it go, it can be in your favor or not in your favor.
True. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that y'all asking me my opinion on the case. I'm just saying I think that it's drug sellers that got life that didn't do a violent crime. They got life for selling drugs. I just think.
You're not able to look at this isolated.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that part, by the way.
What?
Like drug dealers should not probably serve life in
Yeah,
prison.
I agree.
for
Agreed.
selling
I
drugs.
know
You
people
what I mean?
personally
Like,
that
but
got life. That's literally
Some of them-
doing life right now.
I don't think someone else shouldn't get fair justice because someone else
somebody
isn't
else.
getting
That's a good point.
But because you think drug dealers shouldn't get life, it's people that think what drug dealers do is bad. Just because you don't think
that's
it's
their
as
opinion.
bad as killing.
That's their opinion. I'm not knocking their opinion.
So new evidence. You're saying that new evidence was found, and that's what we should be focusing on.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter
You can't
is that
fuck the Menudo boy. Like, what do you do?
Then
Like,
who's that?
dog.
And they found an old letter from the kids to a
he said his
family
cousin.
member
Yeah,
or
he
some
said the cousin.
shit. Yeah.
A letter to his cousin.
I want him to get out. I do want him to get out.
Yeah.
34 years is 34 years, and your parents doing the abuse. It's like I can't speak to what that
Mentally would
mind
do to somebody.
And not only that, when we talk about prison, they talk about the whole,
Oh yeah,
rehabilitation.
you did time.
Well, not. Shut up.
You did do time. You went to jail. You went to prison for some shit.
I did not go to
Speak city
prison.
experience.
I didn't go to prison. I was in jail. There's a big difference between the two, okay? But when they talk about prison, they talk a lot about rehabilitation. And a lot of times that's just really bullshit. But these guys have been exemplary prisoners. They've gotten like college degrees and they run prison programs and they do all this stuff.
Why did that sound so anti-black?
What?
I don't feel like you should be able to say that. Like
Say what?
Like that all the rehabilitation talk is bullshit a lot of times. Like, do we have facts to support that?
Well,
It
yeah.
depends on what angle she
In
coming
this
from.
country.
Yeah.
Depending on what
Versus other
angle she coming
countries.
from.
Go ahead. If y'all want to be
That's not
No, I'm talking from the
Yeah.
angle that
Yeah, I
like
don't think the rehabilitation programs work in prison.
Are you serious or are you joking?
I'm dead.
No, I'm not even talking about
They faking jets?
I'm not even talking about rehabilitation programs. I'm talking about being in prison and it being a rehabilitative experience.
That's what I'm
That's
talking about.
bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
For
is
some,
bullshit.
I would say for some no.
There's studies that show that.
Corey.
That's not.
Corey,
that's
stop.
not.
Corey,
that's
stop.
totally
Corey.
not bullshit.
Corey, stop.
What side are you standing on? That prison does rehabilitate or
Can.
not? Can.
can.
I'm not saying
It could.
does.
Okay, so do you want to
Can.
talk about like
So I just don't think it's fair to state factually that prison can't rehab.
That's true.
I don't think that that's
I
a
agree
fair
with that.
assessment.
It can't. It
I
can.
agree with
It
that
can.
too.
Okay.
It can.
And prison can make you worse.
It can as well.
So,
that's
I
why I
think it's
don't-
a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Can as well.
So I don't want to apply it as a blanket
It just jumps
statement.
out at me when it is a blanket statement because prison rehabbed my dad.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
So-
sense.
So I don't want to issue it as a blanket statement. I want to issue that as a generalized statement.
There
So
you go.
let me just
There you
be
go. There you
clear
go.
on that.
That's better.
So when it comes to the Menendez brothers, they're not a danger to society. They did a heinous crime, but it was directed to the people that, they've given examples of the fact that they like abuse them. And so I don't know. I'm just on the side of them getting parole. And also, I don't know why it's now, but we've read and seen lots of documentaries about them over the course of like the last 20, 30 years. This is not the first time that they've produced documentaries based on the Menendez brothers. It's just now new evidence has come to light in conjunction with a lot of media attention.
This had the best acting. This had the best budget. This had the best production.
Yeah, but I also think that the main factor that, what you guys were saying about men, and
The
male
tabooness,
children,
yeah.
exactly, the taboo of male children being abused, it's a different era in which we're living. It's a different conversation. We have a different mindset when it comes to that. Whereas maybe 20 years ago, it was still very much something that just didn't want to be, people just didn't want to talk about.
Neutral button.